Cotton, have you ever tried the HH? You mean the thing on my back, like, currently? The hunting horn? No, the hunting hound. The hunting horn? No, the hunting hound. You want me to use a dog as a musical hammer? No. Cotton, listen. There's something we haven't told you about your palamute. Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, welcome one and all to another discussion about the most offensive parts of Monster Hunter. The weapons, like literally offense. But today will also be a talk about one of our battle buddies too, because it would be impossible to talk about today's subject without spending a bit of time saying that it almost certainly resulted in the palamutes that we have today in Rise. In the creation of Monster Hunter Generations, there was concept art made of two weapons that never were released into a Monster Hunter game. The first was the Wyvern Boomerang, which we talked about recently, and the second is the Hunting Hound. It doesn't take long looking at this page to see how this turned into the palamute, but originally the Hunting Hound was its own entire 15th weapon class in concept, one that had the hunter themselves wielding essentially a rapier, using mostly thrusting attacks alongside your trusty hunting partner, the Hunting Hound, monster's worst friend. Before we fetch the deepest information on this topic though, please like if you like the video, it really helps other people find it, and subscribe and hit the notification bell to avoid missing any more videos from us. As far as the Hunting Hound, there is unfortunately very little information on what this weapon was supposed to be, only the one page of concept art, and not a lot of it is particularly specific about the mechanics so much as outlining more of the general concept of the weapon, a lot of the things that we actually have for the palamute in Rise, and that may be enough to actually make you openly weep that it's not currently a full-on weapon in the series in its own right. Picture your hunter wielding a fencing sword, your partner a dog, attacking, your own melee combos doubling up as instructions telling your dog how to attack the monster, what part to attack, what direction to attack, those types of things. Think of it like a cross between Hunting Horn and Insect Glaive, where your regular damage combos have alternate effects, guiding your player-controlled friend around the battlefield so you can control two units with just one brain inside of your head, unless you're one of those weird two-brain people. Part of this mechanic carried on to the palamutes of Monster Hunter Rise, as their attack timing is more or less lined up with when you press your attack buttons, which I would guess is how they imagined Hunting Hound to play as well. Also, like the palamute, you could of course give it armor with unique designs, you could ride it to go extra fast, and it could latch onto a specific monster body part in combat in order to draw its attention away from you. A big mechanic unique to this creature that makes a lot of sense as well is the concept that it would never lose track of the monster. Of course, these days we always know where the monster is on a quest, but back when this weapon concept was created, we relied entirely on paintballs to know where the monster was. The Hunting Hound, however, well, that little hound has one hell of a nose on that face, and once they've found their target, they will never let them go, leading you right to your objective. The Hunting Hound would have its own health bar, which could empty on its own, and if when low, you put some meat down in front of it, they will eat the meat and heal up. If you feed it a demon drug, which you can, it will get attack up. This weapon is an attempt at getting as close as possible to letting you control two hunters with one controller, only, well, one of them is a dog.
What up, dog? And, dog?
Keeping it real. Using your pointed implement of stabbing, you can tell your dog potentially to attack specific body parts, or even more standard use are some patterns that you could make your dog attack in, such as staying close to you, circular motions, more of a serpentine sort of zigzag approach distantly, or even throwing them like a curveball. Unfortunately, though, this is the full extent of what we know about the Hunting Hound. It would be pretty easy to infer some things from the palamute system that we have implemented now in Monster Hunter Rise. I'm sure that the gadgets and the stat system for the dogs probably has some basis in the same ideas as Hunting Hound had in concept, but how different would Monster Hunter Rise be if we didn't all have dogs, but if only one of the 15 total weapons now would have a dog? They could still use it as a mount, and I bet if it was entirely its own total weapon, you could probably use it alongside a palico as well, even in a multiplayer hunt. There really isn't a better way to describe this weapon, at least the way that I imagine in my head, than Hunting Horn mashed together with Insect Glaive to make one singular mammalian weapon. Normally, this is the part where I go over whether or not I think this weapon is likely to be brought into a full realization in a main series game in the future, but Well, considering that 90% of the unique draw of the weapon is just a feature that every hunter has access to now, it seems a bit hollow for that to ever happen unless palamutes stop being a feature for every other hunter. By that, I mean in the same way that Clutch Claw was only a mechanic in Iceborne so far, it's possible that palamutes don't go into the 6th generation of Monster Hunter. However, in that case, it once again becomes possible for a 15th weapon class to exist based on the Hunting Hound. It definitely needs a better name though. Hunting Hound is a touch too similar to Hunting Corn, just saying. Depending on how much depth they want to give the weapon as well, they get to have certain attack combos resulting in super powerful dog moves too. This weapon, if brought into existence, could either have a really low skill ceiling where all your hunter attacks do is give your dog general direction, or it could have a really high skill ceiling where you have to nail certain combos that may be long or difficult in order to make your dog do the real good stuff to the monster. I could easily see either version of this weapon existing, and honestly don't know which I would prefer to have. There is always something lovely about a simple weapon done right, but I also want to see the dog get some big, impactful, cool looking shit in each hunt, so anything that could make that happen is something that I would get behind. All in all, this weapon is probably not going to come fully into form in a Monster Hunter game in the future because of the existence of the palamute now, but there is still a world in which I see it possible. If it did happen, it would be a weapon that I would be happy to try out personally, and it would definitely fill a unique role as a weapon in the series for everyone. But I doubt it would become one of my main weapons unless they did something just absolutely incredible with it that I can't even picture in my head myself. Alright everyone, I've been Cotton Dinosaur and this has been a talk about the Hunting Hound, a weapon existing only in a single sheet of concept art for Monster Hunter Generations, never being brought into a game in actuality. What do you think our chances are of keeping the palamutes for future Monster Hunter games? Would you play this specific weapon if it existed with what we know about it today? Like if you like the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world our stage. Goodbye.